Hey everyone, it is Kristen Kramer with Girl Friday Virtual Office, and I swear I keep bringing these to you later and later every time I go live. Um, so, WTF Wednesday, I hope everyone's having a good hump day and that you've been moving yourself towards your goals this week and sort of embracing your successes and evolving where you need to evolve and all that good stuff. So today, I don't know really why it popped into my head, but every once in a while, I will kind of, I don't know, go down some weird memory lane of Romper Room. So I don't know if you guys remember Romper Room or if it was even broadcast in Kansas City, because I'm fairly certain that I saw it visiting my dad over a summer or something, and it was possibly Decatur, Illinois or Chicago, something, but I don't remember it being here in KC. Anyway, like you needed to know that. But Romper Room had the magic mirror piece. Like that's the only thing I remember about Romper Room. That's it, just the magic mirror. And in case you're like, what the hell are you talking about, Kristen? Romper Room, magic mirror, what the fuck is that? I found a clip. So give me 2 seconds because I totally am gonna like take you down memory lane real quick. And then I promise I will connect the dots and tell you like what is the point of all of this random shit that I'm throwing your direction, right? So let's real quick look at this clip of Romper Room. And look, before I share this with you, one, I found it on YouTube. Two, it's like 1984 or something. So put it into context because the quality is definitely not what we expect by today's standards. So, just put it into that context. So I hope that you kind of get a kick out of this. And if you don't know what Romper Room is, then this will be a very interesting treat for you. Okay, so hopefully you can see this because if I blow it up to full screen, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's like so pixelated. I don't even know what's happening there. So this is Romper Room.
And right now, I'd like to see you in my magic mirror. Romper bomper, stomper boo, tell me, do. Magic mirror, tell me today, did all my friends have fun at play? All my friends had fun today. Why, I see Billy's having a special day, and so is Barbara. And Tara's having a special day, and so is Carl. And I see Chip's having a special day. And I see Jade and Lynette. And there's Dina and Randall and Ellen. And I see Pearl and Marty and Russell and Cassie. And there's Diana and Elizabeth. And I see
Lysandra.
And there's Nancy and Ann and Kyle and Eric.
So hopefully you kind of got the, the gist of that. Essentially, at the end of Romper Room, the host would pull out this magic mirror. And the one that I distinctly remember was she would go around the room and kind of, point it at different people or whatever. And obviously, in this version, they're just looking at you in the camera and pointing out your name. And they go on for quite a while. So it's a lot of names. I didn't want to torture you with all that. But this is my whole point. So it kind of makes me wonder sometimes, are you using a magic mirror? Or maybe you need to get one because people give you compliments and they tell you things like, oh my gosh, you're just amazing. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't helped me with this, or how do you know all of this? Or, oh my gosh, I think you are, just, a lifesaver. And they tell you all of these great things, or maybe they tell you, you look fantastic. Whatever the case may be, but they give you these compliments and they tell you how amazing you are or what a great job you did. In things like what I do, if I'm building out an email sequence or automation of some kind, or just email templates and copy and standard operating procedures, all of the various things that I have my hands in. Um, you know, people are like, it's magic, right? I've performed some, miracle for them. And a lot of times, because it's something that those are things that I just do day in and day out, I don't really think they're all that amazing. But if I put myself into their shoes and see it from their perspective, because this is something, whatever it was that I helped them with, is something that's not in their wheelhouse. They don't have experience with it. It would have taken them like 10 times as much time to do it as it did me. Or, they just don't have any idea of where to start. If I'm looking at it from their perspective, then certainly I totally get how, it feels like I've just performed a miracle or, that it was magic. And I'm bringing this up because I was doing really good mindset wise up until, I don't know, probably July. And then all of the grind over the last year and a half really started to set in. And I was talking to a lot of people, but I wasn't like, nothing was really happening. So great conversations, a lot of interest. A lot of people that I talked to were like, oh my God, I totally need somebody like you. And then a lot of nothing. People not moving forward, people getting contracts and canceling contracts. People wanting a contract and then backing out of wanting a contract because, they changed their mind or whatever. And it became very discouraging. And meanwhile, people that I worked with and people that I know are telling me all of these things, oh my gosh, you're so smart. I don't know how you know all of these things. You're amazing. Just, and I'm not saying this to like in a conceited way. I'm saying that this is the feedback that I'm hearing from people I'm talking to. And the problem possibly is that I didn't feel that. So, when I'm on the phone with somebody and she says to me, Kristen, you are such a powerhouse. There isn't anything that you can't accomplish. Logically, I think, you know what? You're fucking right. Like, I'm going to go beat down my own trail, burn it down, and I'm going to conquer the world, right? But there's this little side of me that's like, I don't see what you see. I don't see in myself what you see in me. And I don't think that this is an unusual occurrence. I think a lot of people struggle with this, maybe more so than we like to admit, because it's sort of a weakness, right? I mean, I know a bunch of y'all are going to say, that's not weakness, that's just being authentic. Okay. Bottom line is, if you are typically a confident, self-assured, I know what the fuck I'm going to do with shit, make a decision and go kind of person, this moment in time where you're hearing feedback and you're like, I don't see that. I don't see in myself anymore what you are telling me that you see. That feels like a very weak moment. And I think, what's happened to me definitely over the last 6 weeks is that feeling of the disconnect between what people share with me that they see in me and the things that I've done and accomplished, especially with my business in the last 10 years, is that I as time has worn on, especially, like I said, the last 6 weeks, as time has worn on, and I've continued to sort of have great conversations and then not see anything produced out of those conversations, I have a disconnect, because in my heart of hearts, I no longer see those things in myself. I mean, if I remove myself from the equation, set myself to the side and take me and my emotions out of it, I absolutely 500% see that. But in my heart of hearts, I've sort of got this disconnect going, right? With how people see me. I just don't see that in myself. So I'm not saying this to throw a pity party or for, folks to clamor and, try to blow sunshine at my ass in comments. I share this with you because I think, again, a lot of people struggle with this and not a lot of people share this. So here's the thing. You can work with a ton of coaches. You can journal yourself into oblivion. You can meditate, and you can do vision boards, and you can do affirmations. And I say this because I think I have done all of these things in the last year and a half, at least tried some of them, if not all of them, at some point for a period of time, trying to shift myself out of this place. And people can tell you how amazing you are, and, that you've helped them and they don't know what they would have done without you. And, you're so smart and you're brilliant, and, you're a survivor and don't give up, and all of these things. But the thing is that if you can't see those things in yourself, you are very much stuck. And the question then becomes, how do you get yourself so that you're unstuck, right? So that you can move in any direction, whatever it is. Again, like I talked about last week, making a decision and then taking action. This is a little different because this has to do with your mindset. And truly the only person that can change that is you. So the only person that can change this disconnect that I feel is me. It starts with me. It ends with me. And I want to share something that happened today with you. Two things, actually. The first is my business has always, up until very recently, I've always had long-term clients. And I'm talking like Tanya Barwick, amazing woman. She and I have worked together for 9 years. Jen Settle, another powerhouse. Oh my God, she's amazing too. We've worked together for probably 7 years. And then I have clients that I've worked with for 5 and 6. And Jill Stone, I can't even remember how many years we've worked together, but it's got to be like 7 or 8 years. So I'm very accustomed to having clients and then working with them for a very long time. A lot of companies don't work with their clients for that many years. A lot of people that do what I do don't have clients that they work with for 9, 8, 7, almost the entire length of their company. So I'm very fortunate to have client relationships where I've been able to forge these partnerships with my clients and, amazing relationships with them. And they've stuck it out with me through all of the ups and downs over the years, and even through the huge setbacks that a lot of us went through and are still going through. in the last year and a half. So I'm super, super, beyond belief, not lucky, but fortunate, and deeply appreciate those partnerships and those friendships that I have in those relationships. So today, I talked to one of my long-term clients, and the month of August certainly was not like a stellar month. And the service that I provide for her, there are 5 million reasons why, but at the end of the day, it's my business and my service, and the buck stops with me. So, we're talking about, like, how do we make some adjustments and move in a different direction? And, can we do something, differently and better and make improvements? And again, that is a conversation that I'm very fortunate to be able to have with clients, because some clients would just be like, fuck this shit. I'm done. So I'm glad that wasn't the conversation. But she's telling me, that, how smart I am, and, I've built something incredible, and, all of the amazing things that we've worked on over the years. And that is where, I'm still struggling to go, yeah, you're right. I am awesome. And I am a survivor. I'm totally going to get through this, and I'm going to come out on the other end of it way stronger and better than I was. But she said something very, very, very key, which is, in my head, I have been telling myself the story of, I'm starting from scratch. I'm starting from ground zero. I'm having to start all the way with nothing, and, start from there and try to rebuild again. And it was interesting because she made a very valid point, which is, I'm not starting from ground zero and from scratch. And I hadn't really thought of it this way, probably because I'm still kind of, sucking wind on closing deals. But anyway, it will pass. It will get better. As I maneuver through our maze of change. But what she pointed out was that it isn't like when I started my business 10 years ago. I have 10 years of experience under my belt. I have 10 years of knowing, some of the pitfalls that I didn't know how to avoid the first time I did it. So I've learned a lot over 10 years, and I have all of that to carry forward with me into this new evolution. And she shared that, her husband also, who is a business owner like herself, has sort of been singing that song as well, of starting from scratch, starting with nothing, starting from ground zero, starting all over again. And she made the same point to him as well, which is that, and I'm not starting from zero necessarily, because I have retained clients through COVID. Not at the level that we were at, but some time and it'll get back there, so I don't really sweat that piece of it. But we're not really at ground zero, right? Like, we have experience under our belts, and we have talents that we have morphed and evolved with those experiences over time. And we do bring a lot of those skills and talents to the table. So even when I'm talking to somebody who's starting out as a OBM and online business manager, or somebody who's starting out as a social media manager or a copywriter, because I've had some of those conversations over the last few months, and they're worried because they just started their business, and so they don't really have years and years of experience to show people what they've done over the years. And I got stuck on that for a while because for 10 years, I didn't worry about collecting testimonials. I didn't worry about collecting any of that. So, so I'm like, ooh, that's kind of not good. And people are always asking for testimonials. And LinkedIn, by the way, if you've got recommendations on LinkedIn and they're old, like older, maybe they've been on your LinkedIn profile for a few years, you can ask the folks that posted those for an update. Because, for instance, Tanya was so amazing and went out to my LinkedIn profile, and because I had requested an update, because it, on the recommendation, it made it look like I didn't work with her anymore, and that wasn't the case. And I wanted to make sure that people understood that we have worked together for 9 years, and that says a lot about her and about me, about the relationship that we have. So I wanted to make sure that people understood that. But all that aside, my point with Romper Room and my point with, the disconnect between seeing in ourselves what other people see is that I would encourage you to pick up your own magic mirror and try to see yourself the way others see you. Because you might be really surprised by what you discover. And if you were to ask people, and this was actually an exercise I thought about having people do, which is to sit down with somebody that you trust, because you don't want people to like say horrible things, right? That would totally defeat the purpose of this exercise. But to have people sit down with a magic mirror, like a real one, like for real, a prop, and to tell you what they see in you. Because I think it's important for us to view ourselves through a different lens, and be able to see the amazing parts of ourselves that our inner critic shuts down a lot of times. So that brings me to the second story. My second story is about a client that I'm getting ready to do a project for. And you might remember a few minutes ago, I mentioned that my business has always been in working with clients long-term. So shifting to this new environment of more project-based work, and sort of what I would term as, one and done. So you do the project and you're done with that project, and then, the client, moves on, or they come back to you after a period of time to work on another project, right? So that is a very new phase for my business. And I don't really have my infrastructure designed for one and done clients. And that's not to say, I'm fine with doing project-based work, but I just, haven't built out an infrastructure for that. For instance, a contract. So I been experimenting with HoneyBook, which is a new CRM platform. And it was really cool because I was able to go in and like put in packages and products and the prices and my contract template and my W-9 that I provide in case you get to a point where you need to 1099 me at the end of the year, and all of these things. Oh, and your email template that goes with the contract or proposal or whatever. And it's all packaged together. So they get one email and they do all three things. They pay the advance deposit, they sign the contract, all of it, one fell swoop instead of how I was doing it before, which was to send links. And there were a lot of steps people had to go through. So last night when I was putting it together and sending it, I thought to myself, this is a really long contract for logo design. Okay. I consciously recognized that and thought, well, I'll go ahead and send it because, it's like all right here in this one email. And if I take more time to like pare it down and all of this, like it's going to take me a lot longer to get this over to him. And I didn't want to delay my response, right? Because that seems like a bad plan when trying to close business. So sent it over to him, saw him today at a networking event that we both go to. And was like, hey, thanks for being my guinea pig on this new CRM platform, Honeybook. You're the first person that I've issued a contract through that system. So, how did it go? How was it on your end? What was the experience? And he was like, yeah, I opened it and closed it. He's like, because I just wanted something, simple. And here I had sent like this big long contract, right? Because that's the contract I've been using for 10 years. So, I was like, oh, I kind of thought it was a little long. So let me revise it. So you can just disregard that email. I will send you a revision with, a really abbreviated contract. I said, that's the contract I've been using for years. And I send it to everyone. And I kind of mentioned that, I'm, still getting used to doing like project-based work. And he's like, well, I mean, if it's not a good fit. And I was like, no. It's absolutely a good fit. And I want to work with you on it. I'm just saying that's why you got this like, 4-page contract with all of these clauses in it. So a learning experience for me, right? Like, I'm so glad that he was honest and was willing to share that feedback with me, because I kind of thought it in the back of my mind, but he validated it, for one. And for two, it is something that I need to create. Like, I do need to create a pared down contract for these, these projects that are sort of fall into this one and done category. So that's something to think about too. When you're in your business and you're having to evolve into something different, or evolve with the ever-changing landscape. So I'll be working on that this evening, but I wanted to share that with you because it's a great example of, again, something that we have in our head that we're saying, the story that we're telling ourselves, or, how our perception is of a certain situation, and then how our client's perception is very different. And I panicked a little because he immediately jumped to, well, if it's not a good fit, then, I mean, that's fine. It's okay. And it was not even my intention. So then of course, I'm like scrambling to, explain myself. So those moments are really good to have with your clients or prospective clients or your friends or your family or whomever, to get that kind of feedback. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be really brutal, but if you don't know, then you can't do things differently. Or you might be missing out on an opportunity to learn something or do something better. Or you might hear feedback from somebody when you're like, fuck you, I don't care what you think. That's the flip side of it. But wanted to share those with you because, when it comes down to mindset, you're the only one that can really affect it. And people can tell you all day long how amazing you are, but unless you are in a place to accept it and see that in yourself, then it's going to continue to be a struggle. So maybe this helps you understand that, one, you're not alone, right? So if you've been feeling that way, you're not alone. Two, there are ways to work around it and help yourself through those periods. Having a great support network is key, I think. Having somebody that you can trust, whether it's an accountability partner in your field or, somebody that does what you do, that will give you honest feedback and help you kind of work through those things. That's helpful. And then I think too, putting it into perspective. So today when I talked to a client and she, mentioned that I'm not really starting from scratch. That's true. And it was a reality that I hadn't really thought about. So you have to sort of step back and be able to ask yourself, is my current perception accurate? Not true, but is it accurate? Or is it because I'm feeling discouraged or I'm kind of in a negative mindset that I'm seeing it differently? So talking to other people about it and getting their feedback on it is a great way to see if your perception is accurate. Journaling is a great way because then, you journal about it, your brain stops spinning on that issue. And then maybe in a couple of days, you come back and you read what you wrote and you might have a different perspective on it perspective on it. So I hope this helps you. And, upward and onward, daring to dream big. We're just going to go for it. And no plan B. So I will talk to you guys on Friday and I hope you have a fabulous evening. My dog's going nuts now. Yeah, that's right. You hear him, Pharaoh? He's starting to whine. So I guess that's my cue to shut the fuck up and let you guys go on with your day. Have a great evening. I'll catch you on Friday for Chuck It in the Fuck It Bucket. And until then, go chase your dreams and make something amazing happen.